Hello everyone. Today I have another journal to share. This one I've been working on for a little while and it's been so much fun. So first of all, I used a book cover for the outside and then I did a hidden spine. I used this little template that I made out of cardboard to help myself to get all of the pages the same side. So there's quite a bit of stitching. I'm going to try to stay in frame. This is a pretty big book here. So, and as you can see, it is the Edwardian Lady, compiled by Ina Taylor. And it was a book that I somehow got in my collection, and it had some really interesting information about you know, the Edwardian lady and her life and everything, and some beautiful illustrations included in the book. So I took the book jacket off and I even cut it up and used parts of it, and then I gutted the book, took the pages out, and etc. So on the corner, but I love this gold embossing. That's all original. I did a little bit of light distressing on the cover, and then I think there was like a stain on the cover, like a little black dot that I couldn't get off. So my laces here worked very well for covering that up, and laces and trims and things. And then I show the dangle. I made a little dangle here. There's a bookmark. So I have a little eyelet. That's what that's called. And then there I had this velvet bookmark thing in my stash that I used. And then I've done eyelets here for the closure. And I don't know, I mentioned these were mounted, like mounting tape stickers. I took the little mounting tape square off and I used matte medium gel to glue it on. And then going inside here, I have some seam binding, which you'll see throughout. There's some here also in this little ribbon dangle that I made that I have hand dyed with some spray stains and stuff like that. And then some more trim there. So this is the original inside of the book, and it had, you know, this side and then a full page of it. So I've glued the edges here to make a pocket. Yeah, it was blank on that side. And then I punched the side here and have a journal card stuck in there. Added some more trim there. And then I kind of wanted to keep this picture. Let me make sure. It's going to be hard to stay in frame because this is a pretty large book. So the book, let me close this up real quick, is, let's try doing it the right way, 9.5 by about a little over 7. So it's pretty big. Anyway, this says frontispiece, the artist Edith Holden at her easel. And so most of the picture you can still see, and then I've added this here for a pocket, some trim. Have some coffee dyed doilies, some of this beautiful paper, stamping. This is a page from the Edith Holden book, The Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady, of which I also have a copy. I folded this over to make a pocket, and this is part of what I cut off of that original page there. I just made a tag out of it, stuck it there. And then I have a little paper clip here, just kind of adding some extra holding to that. And I have inserted, oh, this is going to be really hard to, here we go. I've inserted this book page from a different book as a flip out. And I think this came from a scented poetry book that I had. And I did make a journal out of the cover of that book before. But I just love this image, and, you know, I added scraps and things in this journal, so there's all kinds of stuff from different sources of my craft room. It accumulates pretty quickly, doesn't it? And let's see, I don't actually have something in this pocket. Oh, well, we'll just take this card. I took this little die cut, and you can see that I glued it down partially to make a tuck spot. This is a coffee dyed envelope, and on this side, I've got some washi sticker thing here. On this music card, it is also coffee dyed, I believe. And then I've sewn on, as you can see, some trim. And then rickrack, gold rickrack there. It's really pretty. This is a vintage music book page. It's a little bit brittle. And then I've done like a fabric tip in here with this little, what is this, a piece of ephemera. So I took the fabric and stitched it to this, and then I glued this in here. And on this side, I've just glued some ribbon there, and I'm leaving some things I'm letting stick out. And this is coffee dyed paper. I did some stenciling here. This is a printer page that has a little faint image on it. And printer paper, that is. And then this is from the Edith Holden book, and I've glued the sides to make a pocket here. Then I have this jumbo index card, got it upside down there, that I have stamped and inked on the edges, and then I did a little stamp on this side. You can see it's also coffee dyed, and that was in my stash. I coffee dyed a bunch of things at some point, and you know, they're in my file drawers, and so pulled that one out to put in this book, and then I did the stamping. Again, another little tag that I've made out of that extra paper. I've been having some fun making paper flowers lately, and this is one of the ones where you take a heart shape, a heart punch, fold it in half, and you know, layer them around in a circle, and it makes this nice flower. And I had done this in these colors, and I had it sitting. I have another one this is a smaller like heart that I used, and I was thinking of putting this little flower here. This one didn't make it into this book, but the colors I thought went so nicely with this image, so I turned that into a little tuck spot there. And on the other side, we have some of the paper, from the same paper pad. I can't talk. I've done a corner flip here. This is some printable ephemera that I have, that I've had coffee dyed, and again, we have more doilies here. Tracing paper with a stamped rose. I like to do, on the tracing paper, I like to do something that looks okay from both sides, because the tracing paper is see-through, obviously. So a nice symmetrical flower works great. More coffee dyed paper. Again, this is a book page. Oh, and I've got a little paper there. This is from an Anne of Green Gables, like, diary book. Anyway, I've punched the edges and just thrown that in there. And here's the center here, where, well, this is the center, where you can see this bookmark. I don't know if this is originally supposed to be a bookmark or a choker necklace or what. I had a few of them, and I think I got them at a thrift store or something. And I stapled the end here just to make it a little shorter, because it was a lot longer. And then I used this looped part to tie on my extra ribbons, and then I've added some dangles here. I had this little bead flower made up already, and then I added some of these things, and that was fun. I did that just today. So this is one of those coffee dyed envelopes, but it was open, and so the stitching is in the center there, and then once I stitched everything together, I glued the envelope closed. And some more stenciling and some extra border from, I had some from a different journal that I'd cut off the border of. Use that in here. This is just a note, a little card, and stick it back in there, huh? And then I did some stamping on some little muslin scraps that I had, and with some archival inks. And so I have those little strips in a fabric stash, and I thought it looked nice here, just embellishing, so I just stapled that on. More adhesive backed trim here, or ribbon, and then I used red line tape here to put the rickrack on. Some more stamping on the vellum. Actually, you can see it better like that, and looks lovely from both sides. I did some stamping here with some oxide inks, and you can see that little oxidation. And here is a pocket made from the Edith Holden page, and I made an envelope out of one of the extra pages, and I just have about a 3x5 scrap in here. And that goes back. Let's put it right there. Then I have some fabric scraps here that this was in my scrap bin, and I've made a little fabric dangly tab here, and then I have a bulb pin with another little scrap of fabric and a little charm there. And on this side you can see some of the that also. I love that. Did some stamping with the oxide ink here, fossilized amber, I believe that color is. And that's a second generation stamp maybe. So it's not the full strength and a little lighter there. Again, another little stamp, coffee dyed paper. Here we have a banner tuck and more of this printed out coffee dyed ephemera, and again the other side of that vintage music paper. Just did some layering there to make that banner tuck, and it is also on this side. You could probably use this as a tuck, it's just not as deep, so it's not gonna hold as well. And I've done stenciling, more stenciling here, and some blending, ink blending with, like, not this particular one, but something similar to that. And oh, inside I have a journal card. I've had this scrap of sticker bouncing around on my desk for a while, and it had all this stuff adhered to it, but I just added some tacky glue and was able to stick it down here, and I like where it landed there. This is a scrap of the Edith Holden book that I've glued down to cover up something on the envelope, and I left part of it open as a tuck. And again, this is another Edith Holden scrap. And it's kind of bent in the middle, but because I was folding it into a faux envelope, but I didn't like it, so I changed it. Oh, and then I made an embellished paper clip here, so, and this right here, you see how that's shiny, kind of shiny? Let's not get too far out of frame there. That is, in fact, from the book Jacket, and there I just cut it open and then used a circle punch to capture this little butterfly there, and because, you know, there's some beautiful things on the book Jacket. So here's another Edith Holden page. I have some stickers here that are forming a tab. Another stamp. The doilies. And here we have all kinds of tucks and pockets at the end here. So there's, and I think, I'm not sure, this was just, oh yes, I used some Tyvek tape to reinforce my area here, the binding. You might be able to see just a peek of the plasticky looking material there, but that's what this, I used scraps of my coffee dyed polka dot paper to cover up that Tyvek tape. It's not very attractive. So, and then this is that second page that looks like this. I folded it over and made the pocket here. And then there's a pocket back here with some coffee dyed stationery and a watercolor postcard here that is not colored in. And then also there's a pocket up here. So I was kind of playing with the folding of the pages. I think there were a good 2, you know, solid pages on each side left in, you know, after I'd gutted the book. And so I was playing around with folding them to make little hidden spots and pockets and things. I think that's it. I hope I didn't forget anything in here because I did make all kinds of little hidden spots, but it was a really fun journal to make, and as always, it's like, oh, I want to keep it. So I'll probably keep it for a while, and who knows, maybe it'll end up in a sale sometime. But it's beautiful. I hope you like it, and I hope it gives you some ideas for what to do with your journals. Thanks for watching today. Have a great day. Bye.